Hello and welcome back to another Duel Links episode. This video is going to go over some basics that I wish I would have known when I started Duel Links. This is kind of like a little beginner's guide to Duel Links. Things that I think that aren't necessarily conveyed very well, and something that some of my suggestions to the newer duelists that are planning on joining community. First and foremost, I will say, when you go in here to the shop and you look at how many boxes there are, it's slightly overwhelming considering there's 16 different tiers, and I mean there's a lot of different cards that you can choose from. So one thing that I would suggest is don't get discouraged, but at the same time don't try and open packs from every single box. You're gonna drive yourself nuts trying to complete just one deck because you're just bouncing all over the place. My suggestion is figure out what deck you want to build, whether it's Masked Heroes, a Dark Magician, something along those lines. Easily go into the deck list. You can search for other decks online. There's some good ones in here. KC Cups, they like to give you the top couple ones that have been, but then you can see these are all submitted duelists. Other people have created, and you can see your completion levels and what cards you actually want. So I strongly suggest figuring out what what deck you want to actually try and go after, and then go from there on trying to open boxes. My suggestion to you, as starting out, try and go for an auto duel deck. My suggestion would be, on auto dueling. Let's see, do I have I'm set up with an auto duel deck? Yep, right here. So this is just my auto duel deck that makes it pretty easy to win against the standard duelist, and it even bodes well against legendary duelists, especially anything lower than level 30. So, and there's not that many monsters that are SRs. I believe the majority of these actually come from the card trader. Card trader. That one actually comes from a box, and I believe this one does too. But it's just one of those things where outside of these counter traps, but I definitely strongly suggest using, like the UR tickets and stuff that you have used to get these counter traps and spells, just on the simple fact that it's going to make any deck you build much easier. But not only that, some of those, actually I can go in here, they've got a spot. The popular cards here, you can see some of the most popular cards are Konami, which I have, Wall of Disruption, which I have, and Mirror Wall is still, it's not as widely used, but it's still definitely used quite a lot. So look at this list, get these cards off of the top of the list here, because these are definitely the ones that probably are going to be used the most. And it's, these you can use in it, you can throw them in any deck and make them a little bit better. So I strongly suggest using that. Definitely try and make an auto duel deck, because if you're trying to level up your characters, leveling them up takes time, especially once you get into this level after level 25. First 25 to 30 levels doesn't take too long, but these latter parts definitely take a while. But you can see you can get a lot of gems just from leveling up characters. So if you want to stay free to play, which it's very easy to do, just make that auto duel deck. When you come in here to auto duel anyone, always keep this on 3. It's going to increase your rewards by 3. It does not increase the drop chance by 3 times. What it does is every 1,000 you get on your duel assessment, you actually get 3 chests to open instead of just 1. It does not by your actual drop of getting the rare cards by 3. So when you're going into farming events and other things like that, don't expect to get, oh, I'm going to get the SR drops and stuff like that if I have it on ×3. No, it doesn't work that way. It just works on, giving you 3 chests as opposed to 1. And you can see this auto duel went very quickly for me because I've created that auto duel deck. And if we watch, when it comes to the duel assessment, after I hit the level up, when you hit the first one, it gives you 3 chests. 2,000 gives you another 3. And it opens them all, see? So it doesn't give you, a better chance of getting rare materials, it just gives you 3 chests to open. So it's not necessarily good for farming events, but it's definitely good for auto dueling because it does multiply the experience you gain by 3. But it also uses up 3 of your standard duelists. But doing so, if you can, completely eliminate all of these standard duelists before you level up your stage mission. This is definitely big to know. Once you clear out all of these tasks to get to the next stage, this last mission will be able to be collected. Do not collect it until all of your standard duelists have been dueled. Because what will happen is, as soon as you go on to the next stage, all of your standard duelists will come back. There is a maximum of 10, so as you're leveling up, you'll slowly get more and more and more. But once you reach 10, that is the max number. But definitely use this as a free reset instead of using these dual orbs. Which the dual orbs I only suggest using when there's an experience campaign going on, which is right now. The experience campaign definitely helps you boost up your characters even faster, which, it gives you an extra half, it gives you 1.5 times experience. So why not? But I definitely suggest only using these dual orbs at this time, just on the simple fact that you're going to get the most value out of these dual orbs during the experience campaign. So definitely keep that in mind when you're thinking about, oh, I have nothing else to do. Well, then jump into some ranked duels or go to the gate and duel some legendary duelists instead of using those. Just on the simple fact that you want to save them for this time, and then you can farm this pretty hard if you want to try and level up a character to level 45 or something. Like my Valentine has a very good level 45 reward, which if you're going for an Amazon deck is needed. But Amazons have gotten nerfed pretty hard, which is Amazon is Queen. But I shall continue on. On the dueling side, there's an event up right now, the Officer Trudge event, and you're wondering, well, if I've gotten 3 copies of every card, because you can only keep 3 copies in each one, why should I continue to farm? You always want to farm these events as much as possible. Here is the reason. The more SR cards you get, outside of, increasing the chance of getting glossy and prismatic, which will also increase your duel rewards at the end of a duel, but what will happen is you can convert the extra cards. Converting the extra cards that you have is important. Why? Because of the card trader. So, I'm going to get that. But you can see, when you go into the card trader, these cards cost UR tokens, trap tokens, and gold. As you can see, I have 1.5 million gold, and I just got the new one, and there's another new one, and I will be getting that as well. But you can see, as I've gone along, I've farmed the events as I did, and I will go ahead and collect that. But if you want to convert cards, the easiest way is honestly to go into this card trader, and at the bottom, to card catalog for card conversion. When you bring this up, I'm going to give you some pointers. What I would do is I would go into the, alright, where is it? Convert at the bottom. Nope, batch convert. There it is. So you can convert by basic, glossy, and prismatic, which you can keep 3 copies of each. Unless you're going to be an extremely pay-to-play type person, I do not suggest doing it this way. I suggest going by the card name and just keeping the 3 copies of the card, just on the simple fact that the only reason why you would really want to keep 3 of each is if you're planning on using the skill, the Kaiba Bling, because that skill will allow you to say, okay, if I have all non-foils in my deck outside of 3 cards, I can use the skill and pull one of these cards. So unless, but generally you're not going to do that if you're just a free-to-play type person. Therefore, I suggest going to convert by card name. Feel free to select these because as long as you have this to keep as 3, what will happen is you can see all of these URs and stuff. I've farmed these from the previous events. So you can see down here I will be getting 32 UR jewels, which are used in the other side of the card trader here, which will give me the UR cards and stuff that I need. As you can see, if you look in here, there's also cards that you want to pick up. Let's see. As you can see, Hammerhead Shark is right there. I don't know if he's in this one or if you just have to wait until he pops up. But I would definitely suggest going after those auto duel decks because this will make it just makes farming so much easier. See, right there. So that is why I would farm the events and do the card conversions. My last tip and trick that I will leave you guys with is you guys have to remember if you are on the, if you've played the actual TCG, the trading card game, it is completely different than Duel Links on one aspect. Duel Links has made this to where, these are supposed to be 5-minute duels as opposed to 15 minutes. So they have shrunken the deck size from a minimum standard of 40 to a maximum of 30. Minimum you can go down to is 20 cards. So keep that in mind when you're actually building a deck. There's a reason why the majority of people have only 20 cards in their deck as opposed to 21 or 30. Just on the simple fact that these duels are designed to go quickly. They're not meant to be drawn out. There are control decks where you can build them up to 30 cards and you can, slowly build, take down your opponent, but you have to be careful with those because they're not as consistent as 20 card decks. Because if you only have 20 cards, your odds of pulling the cards you need will be great. Therefore, you don't want to try and create too many, how am I trying to say this? Too many different pieces to a simple puzzle. Because if you create, if I need 4 cards to get out my 1, then you're going to be, that 1 card might be great, but, you have Canadia or that they have 1 card that stops you in your tracks, then you've used 4 resources out of your deck. And one deck, honestly, I'll show you. Fusion builds. The fusion builds are not the most popular under one reason. It's because you need a polarization or some type of fusion and you're using 2 materials. Therefore, you're using 3 resources to get 1 card out. Yes, some of these cards are great, but at the same time, like I said before, if they have 1 card that can just completely, shut down your 1 card, then you're left without a resource. Therefore, you want to try and keep your decks low just on the simple fact of you don't want too much going into 1 combination. So just keep that in mind when you're building your decks and stuff. Play around with them. If you find yourself getting a lot of brick hands, which is non-playable cards, then I suggest trying to change it around a little bit. If I because there is a possibility where in this deck I can have an opening hand of 4 level 7 monsters and I can't do a single thing. So that could be an issue in this deck. So it's just one of those things where the odds of that happening are slim, but it could happen at one point in time to where you literally draw all 4 monsters and your next one is your 5th level 7 monster. And, these decks are built to go quickly, so they could easily OTK or 1-turn kill you. So just keep that in mind when you're building your decks. Play around with the deck builder and stuff like that, submit a deck list. So if you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'll be putting out as many more videos as I possibly can. I love Duel Links. I love what Konami is doing with the community. They're trying to keep it fresh, and they're trying to listen to what people are saying. They have surveys all the time. So keep it up, hit that like button, and until next time.